What makes a leader? What pulls us beyond what we thought was our best and into sustained greatness? Tune in right here with Ron Kitchens to learn how to challenge and change your best so that you can move forward into leading at your highest level.
Hey, it's Shannon Allen on the Always Forward Leadership Podcast with Ron Kitchens. Ron, how are you today?
I'm marginally awesome.
You are marginally awesome.
Marginally awesome.
Where's the marginally coming into play?
I'm a little hangry.
Yes.
That's
me too, Ron.
Yeah, sorry. We're into the WW.
Yes, and I started today, and I used a lot of my points on a bag of chips and a soda today.
Yeah,
I'm so sad about that.
It was a habit mistake.
It really was, and I'm so hungry, but it's okay. I will be okay. So we are in the holiday season, and which means Christmas shopping. And you've got a wife and a daughter, and I just don't think that slacking on the Christmas shopping is acceptable. So what is your plan of action?
Oh, it's easy. Kelsey produces a list. She produces a list before Halloween.
Okay.
And it has all of the links.
Nice.
All of the pricing, the sizes, everything is completely idiot-proof.
Is it a spreadsheet?
Oh, yeah. It's an Excel spreadsheet.
That's nice.
And and we have this running thing that she sends it to me, and I say, Kelsey who?
Right.
And, I don't know who this is from. And then her mother goes, and we talk about what the amount is, and then her mom goes and buys the stuff that
is awesome. Kelsey, you are the MVP.
We have one child.
Yeah.
And then Lynn is harder, but okay, easy. And then she sends me photos from her phone of pages from magazines where she has written the size on it and where I'm supposed to go get it.
Nice. So they set you up pretty good.
They do. Yeah, no, I never have a problem.
Well, that's awesome. So our family, there's 7 of us. And so everybody spends a lot of money on everybody. But one year, because, we love all the things about the holidays that have nothing to do with gifts, okay? We understand it's not about gifts, but we sure do love the gifts too. So, we enjoy watching people open what we got for them and being surprised by it and all that good stuff. So one year we decided that we're just going to draw one name. And how much you spend on that one person is your business, but everybody's not buying for everybody this year. And that year, what usually takes us about an hour to open gifts took us like 15 minutes, and we stopped and just kind of looked at each other. We're like, yeah, we're never doing this again. So we just enjoy the act of opening gifts. And I never have a plan of action. I usually shop like December 23rd and 24th.
So everything comes from Walgreens?
No, it doesn't. It comes from the mall. Yeah, it comes from the mall. But I do a lot of my shopping very last minute.
I don't think there's going to be anything left at the mall by those dates.
There usually is. And my family always loves my gifts. So, yes.
I'm a terrible, there are some years I get like blue socks and underwear and the stuff that.
Well, now that I know that you mostly wear blue socks, if I get you something, it's probably going to be blue socks. So I just feel like I can't go wrong.
I wear the same exact socks, same exact underwear, the same exact t-shirts.
Well, not the same exact.
Not same exact. Brand wise.
There we go.
Brand wise. I don't variation.
Yeah.
I only have so many things I can think of at 6:00 in the morning.
Yeah. Well, you make a lot of decisions every day. So if we can eliminate that decision, then that's great. So today we are going to be talking about getting out of a rut. And I think we all have, those seasons or those times of maybe just feeling stuck and kind of battling a sense of I can't move forward or I can't get things done. And I think the good news is we don't have to stay there. Yep. So I felt like today would be a great day to talk about just how to move past that immobility and just kind of kickstart yourself and get out of those ruts. So, I think that's going to start with identifying a rut. And so,
yeah, I think part of it is you have to, what's your perspective? Or is your perspective from the top of the mountain, the side of the mountain, ground level, or are you in a ditch and you think that the horizon is the top of the ditch? And so you've got to understand your own perspective of what a rut is.
Yeah.
Because, I have a friend who he's the most annoying guy in the world. Mark Scott, I'm looking at you. And because he posts his bicycle route.
Yeah.
He's one of these distance bike guys. And every day he's got to post his bike route. And so I started looking and like, dude, you're running the same route every day. He goes, oh, I said, you're in a rut. You're on the same route every day. And he goes, oh, no, this is the route that gives me the most energy.
Wow.
So what I perceived as a rut, for him, it was the route that gave him the most energy.
That's a really awesome perspective.
And
That's
so we
really
have to
good.
understand our own perspectives before we know how to prescribe a solution.
Yeah, for sure. So what are the telltale signs that, whether it's your version of a rut or someone else's, but what are some telltale signs that you're in a rut?
Well, I think that the whole energy thing. Are you exhausted but excited, or exhausted and crushed?
Yeah.
And it tells you if you're in a rut. You
sure.
know, and sometimes we're in seasons, and we have to understand that. But you know, that's where it's important to have somebody, a wise counselor, whether that's an official, counselor that you're paying a fee to, or it's a friend, or it's somebody you can say, here's how I'm feeling. Look at my calendar and tell me what you think.
Yeah, that's really
good. Because I have seen people make assumptions that I'm in a rut. You know, I would call it a cul-de-sac. I'm going around and around in circle, but I'm not getting anywhere. Sometimes, you're going around in a cul-de-sac, and all you have to do is turn the car left.
Oh, yeah.
Turn the wheel left. You're out of the cul-de-sac right then. But we forget that.
Yeah.
And because it's either pretty or it's nice or it's easy or we don't have to make a decision. But we're in that cul-de-sac going round and round, putting lots of miles on our car, but we're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
So you got to understand where you are and where you want to go and what are the behaviors you have to take to get there. It's not about a title. It's about the outcome.
Right. Well, and what you said about, are you exhausted but excited? I think about a characteristic of a rut that I found in my life is a prolonged season, not just a couple days or a couple weeks, of not seeing anything to look forward to each day. And even that still is perspective, but just really not using my time to do anything that gives me energy. And so we all have to take out the trash, we know that. But if over a long period of time I'm not finding or not utilizing my gifts and talents in ways that really give me energy, I think that can be problematic and can create a rut.
You're definitely in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah. So what do you think are some triggers of a rut?
I think oftentimes it comes from a season of success, and we stopped to relax.
Yeah.
And then we never re-engaged around that. So, I've been studying a lot and interviewing people and working on a new book on what it takes to stay great and trying to study those that season after season, year after year, generation after generation, organizations, individuals, companies that stay great. And why some don't.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just forget to re-engage.
Yeah.
And I think that happens. I think pain causes that. You were hurt. You pulled back to heal. And then you don't have the heart, the leadership, the coaching to get back in the game.
Right.
And so you stay in that cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And then I think, too, we find other things to do. And, you have to age, but you don't have to get old.
Right.
And, you'll see pictures of, a 74-year-old that can barely move, and then this picture of Sammy Hagar. And you go,
right.
Wow, if that... So it's a conscious choice in a lot of things that we forget to choose and we get old.
Absolutely. So how...
And you can be old and 25. So.
That is true. I've met people who are that way, who have so. I mean, kind of the next place that we're going, they don't have a sense of purpose.
That's right.
And so they've aged and they've gotten old, you know. So how important is purpose when it comes to getting out of a rut, and how do you keep that sense of purpose in front of you?
Oh, I think it's critical that you keep your sense of purpose in front of you, and that purpose can change, and it can adapt, but it needs to be conscious. So, and you need to understand, what do you want? And most people can't answer that.
Right.
It's the Olivia Pope question, and if you ever watch the TV show Scandal, Olivia Pope in the early years started every episode, her client would do something completely insane. And they'd call Olivia Pope the fixer to get him out of it. And she would say, "What do you want? What do you want?" And nobody could ever answer.
Yeah.
They could tell you about their pain. They could tell you about their problem, but they couldn't tell you what they wanted. And unless you know what you want, then you will never be happy.
Yeah.
You'll never have that sense of accomplishment of here's what I wanted and here's what I got.
Yeah.
And you just see it with people who have levels of success that they never dreamed of. They crash and burn a lot of times because they got what they never imagined and they don't know how to celebrate it. And it feels like a burden then. It feels like a phony. We have, particularly with women these days, I'm reading about so much anxiety over this, belief that I'm not worthy. I'm an imposter.
Imposter syndrome. Yeah.
And that's because a lot of times we haven't been prepared to dream as great as we were made to be.
Right.
Wow. And once you figure out what you want, then how do you get there?
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know on your own.
Yeah.
So you got to find wise counsel to help you get there. And to say, here's what this looks like. People like us do things like this, and if you want to achieve that, you got to do this.
Yeah.
Nick Saban is famous for saying, if you want to be great, you have to pay the price.
Right.
There's no other way.
It just takes what it takes.
Takes what it takes.
Yeah.
You got to go do what it got to do
Yeah.
to do that. But he's there to say, here's what you got to do. He didn't leave it up to the players to go, well, should I run or lift weights? Should I eat or drink? What should I do? Here's what it takes.
Yeah.
To do that. So you've got to get wise counsel to help you figure that out. And then you've got to go execute on that.
Yeah.
And you've got to be realistic about checking in with yourself and saying, am I really doing what it takes to achieve that? Am I getting the results? And then celebrating the milestones on the way.
Right. Well, and I mean, having that sense of purpose does cause you to, just like you just said, to dream as big as where your talent can take you.
Yep.
I've never heard that said before, and that's so profound. A lot of people don't dream about the place where their talent could actually take them. Yep. And, I was just thinking, we've gone like 3 episodes, we haven't talked about Nick Saban,
Yeah, sorry.
So, no, that's okay.
I had to drop the
king.
No,
because I actually was thinking about him in this, so last season was the COVID season, perfect season, national champions. Now here we are a season later, and things aren't as good as they were last year. Still only lost 1 game, but there's been a struggle. But in every interview, I see Coach Saban, and he looks like he's enjoying it. Like, he has such a sense of purpose that he is excited to rise to this challenge that they're facing this year. And I think purpose, it gives you that, where it's like with a challenge that would take a lot of people into a rut, causes you to get excited and to get on fire to actually meet that challenge. And so, purpose is so important for that. And so, I think shame, a lot of times when you're in a rut, shame can kind of keep you there. So how do you avoid or get out of that place of shame when you find yourself in a rut?
It's interesting in that one of the questions I've been working on with the people I've been interviewing and the work I'm doing on the new book is, are you driven by fear of failure or are you driven by desire to win? And vast majority of the people we're studying are fear of failure.
Yeah.
They don't, and it isn't that they'll look dumb, is that their families, the people important to them, their players, their employees will be considered less than.
Yeah.
And so, but I got great advice one time from a mentor. And I was, in a struggle on the struggle bus about something and really worried that people saw me in a way that wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I want to just be really honest with you. Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying any attention to you. They don't. It isn't your thing to own. Step out, go do the thing, be brave, and you'll find nobody's going to look at you twice.
Right.
And he's right. And we have to remind ourselves of that.
Yeah.
That shame we may be feeling.
Mm-hmm.
One, if you're feeling that, get somebody to talk to.
Right.
You know, in today's world, and we've talked about it on this podcast before, but, you know, we openly talk about getting mental health. Mental health help. Our insurance pays for it. I know it's a $30 deductible, same as going to the doctor.
Yeah.
And but that we talk about it more than we talk about our annual physicals or flu shots.
Absolutely.
Or those things, because the anxiety is real and the fear of being discovered as less than is real. And so go talk to people.
Yeah.
If you're feeling that way, it just makes great sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but no, most sleep people aren't. They're so worried about their own crap. They're not worried about yours.
That's very true. Very true. So in your experience, you know, if you've gone through seasons of feeling stuck or being in a rut, what are some practical steps and some methods that you've used to kind of kickstart yourself?
I think the first thing is clear the deck, put all the stuff away, clean the top of your desk off, get the files put away, and then mine is I listen to the soundtrack from the Broadway show Wicked.
Yeah.
All the way through in the correct order.
Yes.
I cry for Defying Gravity. I am mad about, no good deed goes unpunished.
Yes.
I'm mad about it all. And in the end, I realized that the power to be great and authentic and thrive is embedded in me and embedded in every individual. And it isn't those that would judge the green witch over the blonde witch who decide what greatness looks like in this world. And we just look at, and it's amazing right now who's popular in music, who's doing things. It's not the prettiest. It's not the best. It's talent matters. And who are you? Marianne Williamson, the author, wrote, and I guess former presidential candidate, wrote, about this idea that you have no right. Who are you to question the God-given greatness that was put into you?
That's so good.
And, I think and I butchered that. Go look up Marianne Williamson. It's a great poem that she wrote. And, but I think we have to remind ourselves, who are you to not be great?
Yeah, I love it. And I love that idea, like you talked about, clearing off your desk and decluttering. Sometimes when you're in the weeds, the best way to get out of the weeds is to just figure out.
Mow the damn grass.
Yeah, mow the grass. Exactly.
Get out the weeds, mow the grass.
Absolutely. And just figuring out what are the 3 most important things that I could do right now that would make a difference and that could help me move forward.
And sometimes it's the soundtrack to Wicked.
Yeah, absolutely. No, listen, I think I sung every female solo off of that in various theater competitions in high school and stuff. So
me too. No, I didn't. That's a lie.
It's a great soundtrack. So, we've talked about, kind of the signs and the solutions for being in a rut. And we touched on mental health just a minute ago, but just to kind of go deeper in that, how can you tell, or when is it time to maybe acknowledge, okay, this isn't a seasonal rut. I'm depressed. I'm in a long state of I'm down.
I'm sad.
Yeah. How do you know when it's time to see that and to get help?
If you're thinking that it is time.
Yeah.
It's cheap. It's easy. You can do it from from your own home. You can, dial a counselor.
Yeah.
There's lots of great services.
Yeah.
I think Psychology Today is the one we go online to refer people to their services. So they've been vetted by somebody, but your insurance company is going to have some referral resources. But talk to people.
Yeah.
And and you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But don't wait till you're fetal on the floor and thinking, you've got to be, that's how bad it's got to get.
Yeah.
You were put on this earth to be great and to thrive, and that isn't. And fetal on the floor is not living your best life.
Yeah. And if you're listening and you don't have health insurance or finances are an issue for finding a therapist or seeing someone, most cities and counties have some type of organization that subsidizes healthcare. So maybe
is that 311 that you dial? I think it's 311.
Yeah. If not, I will put it in the show notes just in case. But they'll may charge this person who can't afford this over here, so that this one who can't afford this only pays this much or pays nothing at all.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So so finances never have to be a limitation to get help. So,
yep.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a really good place for us to wrap up today. Do you have any other thoughts?
I'm just going to keep reminding folks, take care of yourselves, the one you love, the ones you love. Holiday season, no matter what your faith journey is, about a time of renewal, about a time of celebration, about a time of honoring the lives of those who impacted you. One of my traditions is I sit back and think of the decisions I made over the course of that year, and where I learned those skills from, who inspired me to make that decision, and I send them a thank you note.
That's good.
And sometimes it's somebody 30 years ago that here's what I saw you do, here's what I witnessed, here's how I used it to make a decision, and I want to thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's one of the most powerful things. It's the best day I have of the year.
Yeah.
Is reflecting and sending those notes. And I write them even if I don't know how to find the person, because you'd be amazed about how many times after I've written it, I'm able to find that person within a week or two.
Yeah, that's really good. Gratitude is really important.
It is.
So that's awesome.
And I'm grateful that everybody's with us this week and always.
Yes.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Thanks for joining us. If today's conversation has ignited greatness in you, take your next step and visit ronkitchens.com to gain more inspiration and to connect with Ron. You can also tweet Ron at Ron Kitchens. Until next time, keep moving, always forward.